Welcome to Crypto Gig 99. Every day on this channel, we will update you guys with up-to-date crypto news. So if you like cryptos, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and like this video for the YouTube algorithm. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission pushes WisdomTree Bitcoin ETF decision to fall. According to a filing, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has postponed its decision on the WisdomTree Bitcoin Exchange Traded Fund (ETF) until later this year. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has postponed the deadline for its decision on the WisdomTree Bitcoin ETF application, the regulatory body announced on July 13. The SEC currently has a long list of ETF waiting to be reviewed as fund managers become increasingly insistent about releasing an ETF. The WisdomTree ETF decision will be pushed back to the fall season with no clear date given. This Bitcoin ETF, like many others, would provide direct exposure to Bitcoin, something that the SEC is very wary of. Direct exposure would subject investors to all of the quirks of the market, including volatility. The SEC is particularly concerned about market manipulation, which it has referred to in the filing and on other occasions. In the filing, the SEC asked for commenters to provide their input concerning several specific points. This includes the trust's susceptibility to manipulation, regulatory improvements and efficacy, and investor protection, among other things. The SEC had already postponed the VanEck Bitcoin ETF in June, pushing that much-anticipated application's decision to July. VanEck has also filed for an Ether-based ETF. VanEck has filed 4 applications for a Bitcoin ETF so far. When will the first Bitcoin ETF arrive? Over a dozen Bitcoin ETF are now on the SEC desk, a sign of fund managers' enthusiasm for releasing an ETF to the public. They argue that an ETF will help bring a greater swathe of the public into the market via regulated means. This would avoid the potential for these investors to invest via other vehicles, which could be inherently riskier to the uninformed. The SEC has been adamant about taking things slow and ensuring that investors are protected. Volatility and market manipulation are their largest concerns, and the SEC has been beating the drum of investor protection this year. But with the market taking hold of the mainstream and more money flowing in, the SEC cannot avoid deciding on these applications much more. Crypto supporters argue that the US is lagging, and it's about time that a broad regulatory framework was put in place for clarity's sake. Given the SEC's seemingly greater focus on crypto regulation this year and the general energy in the industry, we could likely see a decision on high-profile applications like VanEck soon, while others could happen later this year. An actual approval, of course, could be dependent on whether the SEC determines it is safe and whether new regulatory standards are required. New data hints why Bitcoin price action has spent 2 months at $30K. Multiple factors demonstrate why $30K is so important for BTC United States dollar within an ongoing price supercycle. Bitcoin, BTC, has seen almost 2 months of range-bound price moves after hitting $30,000, and new data hints why. In a series of tweets on July 15, popular Twitter commentator Nunya Business presented multiple arguments supporting the significance of $30,000 for BTC United States dollar. All roads lead to $30,000? Despite rising fundamentals and ongoing adoption narratives, BTC price action has failed to re-establish a bullish trend. Still 50% below recent all-time highs, Bitcoin is without direction, something which leads opinions to favor a bearish outcome of what has been 8 weeks of sideways movement. For Nunya's Business, there are a number of technical factors which are converging to support $30,000 as a focal level. These include $30,000 being approximately the 1.618 Fibonacci extension level on the monthly chart versus the $3,100 lows in late 2018, as well as the 2021 yearly opening price. Its psychological significance is compounded by it being a round number, and as others have noted, it fits into a longer-term trendline which places $64,500 as something of a mini run to a blow-off top. It's approximately the 1.618 Fib-ext, which in the 2 prior cycles was tested as support but was never closed below on the monthly chart. Accompanying comments read about the Fibonacci phenomenon. Research defends Bitcoin supercycle the importance for Bitcoin not to break below $30,000 and fail to reclaim it compounds existing anxiety about a full-on BTC price breakdown. Amid the unease, some voices caution that it is only a desire to interpret events to push one's own narrative, bullish or bearish, which is at play. Bitcoin itself, meanwhile, is not as weak as price suggests, as fundamentals confirm. Regardless on your risk appetite, strategizing now is key so as not to miss the next wave in this current Bitcoin supercycle, Stack Funds concluded in its latest report released Thursday. Nunya Business meanwhile included Tesla's BTC stash as a potential sticking point. Below $30,000, the user calculated, the firm would start being underwater, which may trigger executive demands to sell more in order to reduce losses. As Cointelegraph reported, investors are already back in the accumulation phase around $30,000. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.